Before I move on to the summary, let me briefly introduce the focus of this interview. The conversation revolves along the National Education Philosophies, FPK, and the Teacher Education Philosophy that we know is FPG. Looking at the meaning, values, and continued relevance in Malaysia's education system, these philosophies are not merely abstract concepts. Actually, it's rather than they act as building principles that influence curriculum planning, teacher training, and the broader aims of unity, nation buildings, and lifelong learning. To begin with, the discussion point out that although the FPK and FPG are often mentioned in official policy document and teacher trainings, actually not everyone, whether students, parents, or even educator, fully understand the true meaning of it. This lack of understanding makes it easy for people to overlook their importance. They're crucial because they influence how teachers are prepared, how classrooms are managed, and ultimately how education contributes to creating a knowledgeable, unified society that values lifelong learning. Moving on, the FPK acts as the foundation of Malaysia's education system. It emphasizes holistic development, which means education is not just about academic performance, but about nurturing intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical growth. The philosophy and aims to produce balanced and harmonious individuals who are morally grounded, emotionally stable, and physically healthy, which is we call it as individual who can contribute meaningfully to the progress of society and the nation. The FPG, on the other hand, is designed specifically with teachers in mind. It means that it set the standard for professionalism, values, and dedication that every educator is expected to uphold. Teachers are not only responsible for delivering lessons, but we know it's also have responsible to shaping the character and future of the students. While the FPK outlines the vision of education, the FPG actually provides the practical framework for how teachers should think, act, and teach in order to turn the vision into reality. Furthermore, the interview highlighted the core value embedded in both philosophy. In the FPK, the focus is on knowledge, ethics, and harmony, while the FPG emphasizes professionalism, creativity, and lifelong learning, and also commitment to students' growth, like I mentioned earlier. These values enable teachers to act not just as instructors but also as a role model, mentors, and guides to guide them, students, and also a new generations. Together, the values of the FPK and FPG form a strong ethical and professionalism backbone for Malaysia's education system, this is good. The interview also discussed the practical influence of these philosophies in shaping real policies and reforms. Like for example, the curriculum standard sekolah rendah. Usually people know it as KSSR. And the second one is the curriculum standard sekolah menengah. We call it as KSSM. This both is designed with the principle of the FPK in mind. like emphasizing holistic development with subjects such as moral education, system study, Islamic studies, and civic education. At the same time, the FPG guides teacher education in Institute of Teacher Education, like mostly people know it as IPG, and universities where trainee teachers take courses on philosophy, ethics, and professionalism. This ensures that the future teachers are well prepared, not only as educators but also as nation builders. Educational initiatives such as the 21st Century Learning Framework further reflects the link between philosophy and practice, combining academic rigor with soft skills like critical thinking, collaborations, and character development. For instance, critical thinking can be seen when students are encouraged to analyze the real-world problems, evaluate information from different sources, and propose creative solutions rather than just memorizing the facts. Collaboration is fostered through group projects or cooperative learning activities where students work together. And also they share responsibility and learn to respect diverse perspectives. Character development, on the other hand, is not nurtured through values-based education, community service projects, and classroom practice that emphasize empathy, integrity, and responsibility. This example shows how the principle of FPK and FPG are not just theoretical but actively practiced in school to prepare students for life beyond academics. Another important point raised is whether the FPK is still relevant in today's fast-changing, globalized world where students are heavily exposed to social media, technology, and even outside cultural influence. This response is clear. The FPK remains highly relevant, perhaps even more so today. While globalization and technology brings opportunities, to be honest, it also brings risks such as losing cultural values or dependence on a digital media such as AI, ChatGPT, or any website. And also the FPK provide a strong anchors reminding us to education must always strive for balance and harmony. It ensures that while students excel academically and master technology, they also uphold moral values such as empathy, and responsibility, And lastly, the interview showed that both FPK and FPG remain essential pillars in building Malaysia education system. The FPK provide the vision of holistic student development, while the FPG provide the framework for teachers to bring that vision to life. Together, they ensure the education in Malaysia goes beyond academic excellence to nurture character, values, and national unity. These philosophies actually remind us that education is not simply about producing knowledgeable individuals, but about building well-rounded citizens and committed teachers who will contribute to the nation's progress and harmony.